Good morning, econ students, and welcome to your user guide for your course this hex semester. Quick comment on uh, whether I'm teaching remotely or whether I'm in front of you. If I am remote, know that you have a supervisor in your classroom, and what I'd ask first off is that you thank that person for being there. Secondly, please honor any request he or she makes of you, because their sole task in that room is to make sure that we are being safe and having a good learning environment. They shouldn't have to do a whole heck of a lot. The one thing that is really important that I want to stress is that we have to consider contact tracing in our seating chart. And so once we've established that on day one, then I think it's vitally important that you stay in those seats throughout the remainder of the course. By breaking that protocol, what we run the risk of doing is compromising our contact tracing, and we could put ourselves in a bad situation where in-person learning could be jeopardized as a result. So I don't think any of us really want for that to happen. The other thing that I wanted to stress to you is that even though if I'm not there, I am still your teacher for the course, and any other supervisor in the room is not there in that capacity. So if you have questions, you can ask me via the Google Meets. You can step out in the hallway and ask if you need some privacy. You can always message me in Schoology. You can shoot me an email. There are multiple ways to get in contact with me if you have questions about the course, but please direct all questions to me so I can help you. All right, that said, why don't we get into what Schoology looks like for this class? And what I've got in front of you on the screen is last hex semester's economics class. Ours is in the process of being built, and I thought it would be more beneficial to show you one that's already been completed so you can see all the pieces that are in there by the end of the course. The three main pieces to our Schoology course that you're going to need to monitor and be aware of are, first off, the materials page, which will be the springboard to things that we do every day. The second piece will be the updates page, and the third would be your grades. It says grade book because I have the teacher version of Schoology, but I know you have a segment called grades, and you're going to want to make sure you're monitoring those three things on a daily basis. On the materials page, let's start there. At the top, you have a link if you are learning virtually. And this is my way to be able to guarantee that you are counted present for the day. Although we have Google Meets, sometimes I get printouts of who attended the meeting, but some days I don't, depending upon who logged in at what point. So a foolproof way for you to be counted present for attendance, and this will be the way that I need it done, is you click on this link, which will take you to a Padlet page. Let's see if it'll take me there. Sure it will. Where you will have a column for your course, and I think actually we're hour 1 for econ and hour 2 for human geography. But there will be a question of the day, and then you will need to include your name and your response to the question. The question designed to only take 15 seconds to half a minute to do. But then at the end of the day at 3 p.m., I go through that list. I mark all those that responded as present. Anyone who didn't respond is marked as absent. And this is when you're learning virtually. So that would be on Fridays, those Flex Fridays. Or if you are full-time VLA, you have to do this. This is the sole way that I will be taking attendance. I cannot stress that enough. Then this end of hex announcement, you'll see something similar to this towards the end of our course. It is just my quick guide on how to get yourself caught up with due dates at the end, so we don't need to concern ourselves with that necessarily today. But when we have our Google Meets, that's the next piece that you'll find on our page. I have two different ways to get into our Google Meets. The first is the quick buttons, as I think I've termed it. Instead of our links, it's a graphic that I've created where our course will be the green button, hour 1. And then if you need to find me in office hours in the afternoon or Thursday evenings, that's the blue button. I only have one section of economics this Hexmester, so there wouldn't be a red link to a third Google Meet. Something else that you'll find on the graphic will be the daily schedule, the courses that I have. And then note on Thursdays, I also have evening office hours for those of you that work throughout the day or you do your coursework in the evenings. Sometimes I've found that it's better when you have a question if you can get immediate feedback. So if you're working on a Thursday night, um, you can jump into my office hours because I will be in there with the Meet open to help you with questions. The other way to get to our Google Meet is through the folder that has just the links there. So it's going to take you to the same meets. One would be our hour, the other would be office hours. Uh, so that's just another way to get into our class. Then the two folders that contain the course information, you have the current folder and you have the completed folder. Current folder would be whatever we are working on for a given week. Of course, you can see from last semester, nothing's current anymore. Everything would be located in the completed folder, topics that we've covered. The way that I've set up the course is that each folder represents a week, and then rather than doing things in a day folder, so I have divided up the course into what I call modules, and each module is connected with a set of standards that we have to cover. So for example, in week 1, we have module 1 dealing with opportunity costs and trade-offs. We also cover module 2, resources and production possibility curves. And so then within each module, what you will find are the materials needed to complete the module. So there's graphics, there's directions, step-by-step directions of what you need to do, and then there are attachments that go along with the directions that you have for the course. So the course has been set up to be synchronous and asynchronous, especially for the virtual learners. If for some reason your daily schedule does not allow for you to be able to attend class in real time, you still have the opportunity to see and cover what we've done during a time of the day when you can be available. So what I've done with the modules is that I give them a period of time that we cover. So maybe a 2-day span where those are the topics that we're going to go through in class. And basically we're taking those steps in each module on in real time during class time. So then the way the course is going to work is we obviously had to cut down some of the amount of modules that we would cover since we're getting through an entire course in 6 weeks versus 12. So we're going to look primarily at microeconomics, and we'll touch upon some macro, larger economic concepts, but we'll look at some foundational topics to start off the course. Then we'll get into market forces and supply and demand, with what a lot of people equate to economic thought. After that, we'll look at market structures and we'll look at competition in the marketplace. And then we end the course with a personal finance unit that we introduced last spring, which I think has been proven to be pretty beneficial for students. So that will take you through the course. Now, another piece that I wanted to point out to you was the updates section. I cannot stress how important this is, because oftentimes this is where I am going to be making announcements that pertain to you, and I can push it out to everybody. So you have to monitor the updates section. You are responsible for things that are stated in the updates. I try not to overuse them. You probably will see at the most one announcement per week. There may be a couple weeks where we even go without an update. But as emergencies occur, things come up that are important, you have to be aware of that. Willfully ignoring that is what we would call a dereliction of your duty as a student. So make sure that you are paying attention to that. And then, of course, lastly, your grades are important to be monitoring so you can keep tabs on assignments that need to get submitted. And also, if you've submitted work but it hasn't been graded yet and you see that a few days have gone by, please let me know that I'm missing something. And I'll try to get on top of that as quickly as I can for you. One other piece that I'll point out for you is that some students don't care for the module system or the way that I have the folder set up, and they really like to see like a day by day, here's what we did. This calendar icon that's in the upcoming portion on the materials page does a nice job of that for you. It shows you things that were due on a given day. So if we go back and look at how things worked in Hexmester 2.2, each of these boxes is going to give you an idea of what we covered. So with that, I just want to say thanks for watching the video. I hope this helped give you an idea of just how to navigate Schoology, and please message me with questions. Of course, that's using this icon on the red ribbon at the top, or you can email me or just ask me questions in real time via Google Meet.